Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Shear, and that's Robert Harding. And this is the Citizen Sports Weekly for Thursday, November 5th, 2015.
That's right.
The 33rd anniversary of my last high school football game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's the time gone?
33 years, man.
The immortal number 85?
85, yes. Although I wore number 40 in that game. It was a road game. Cicero or Syracuse. I was wearing my road number, which was 40. Yeah, different numbers. We had mismatched sets. So sometimes you had a home number and a road number, but anyways. All right, well, we're going to pick 6 NFL games. We're not going to relive my very brief high school football career. So last week, each of us were 4-2. So I am still ahead at 31-17. Robert is 29-19. So we'll see if we can do better this week. So 6 games. Robert picked them this week. And, of course, the big game. Oh, my God. I can't believe it. It's Dolphins at Bills. Wow. This is it.
Shirt.
This is the game where there is a Tim Hortons beverage at stake. Robert won last time. Will he win this time? Well, the Dolphins obviously have changed quite a bit since that game in September. Obviously, they've changed coaches. They've changed defensive coordinators. Sadly, they've lost their best defensive player, Cameron Wake, who tore his Achilles last week against the Patriots. And also, Juwan James, their starting right tackle, is out too for a few weeks with a toe injury. So, yes, the Dolphins have changed, but then in some ways they've changed for the worse, not the better. So, how do we see this game going? Well, the last game, Miami really went through the motions. They really did not put much of an effort out, which was very disappointing. But they're playing harder. But they are coming off a extended break because they did have to play last Thursday night against the Patriots where they were absolutely shellacked. So can they beat Buffalo? They can beat Buffalo. They can. They have to run the football, number one, which they weren't able to do against the Patriots last week, nor were they able to do against the Bills in September. And can they stop the run? That's going to be interesting. I think really where this game is going to turn is if the Dolphins can contain Tyrod Taylor and keep him in the pocket and don't let him beat the Dolphins with his legs. In other words, he's either going to get out of the pocket and he's going to get a gain, or he gets out of the pocket and he looks downfield and finds somebody open, okay, like Charles Clay. If he does those things, then Buffalo's going to win. If he doesn't and Miami can run the football, I think Miami's got a fair shot of winning this game. Now, who am I picking?
Who are you picking?
Who am I picking? Well, Robert knows. He's looking at my sheet here. And I hate to do this. I really want to pick Miami in this game. I really want to think that this team has turned it around and can win this game. But, something Buffalo, as much as I hate to admit, is a tough place to play on the road. Their pass rush is still top-notch, even though I know there's been some disagreements between Rex Ryan and some of the defensive players. But I know that they had a little chat this week and straightened things out. So I think what's going to happen is Buffalo's going to get a tremendous pass rush. They're going to stop the run, and they just got Miami's number right now. And I hate to say this, but I'm picking the Bills.
Wow.
And you're picking the Bills.
After all that.
And you're picking the Bills, right?
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Of course
okay.
I'm taking the Bills. They're at home,
right.
Coming off a bye.
Right.
They got some of their banged-up pieces back.
Yes.
You mentioned Taylor, obviously, but then you've got, looks like Sammy Watkins will be back. Looks like Carlos Williams will be back. Those are a few key pieces that they've really been missing for the first half of the season. At different points, of course, but they lost 2 going into the bye. They need a good bounce back game. This is that opportunity. It's at home. They haven't played well at home for most of the season. This is a chance for them to get back to 500, beat a division foe, and I think they'll do it.
All right. I hate to admit it, but I pick these games with my head, not my heart, unfortunately. So.
Attaboy.
Next game is the Green Bay Packers at the Green Bay Packers at the Carolina Panthers.
The Green Bay Panthers.
I almost said the Green Bay Panthers. Holy cow. It's too early for me to screw these things up, folks. Anyways, the Packers lost their first game of the season at Denver last week. I think they're going to respond. I mean, you're always weary of picking a team that's playing on the road for the second week in a row. But I think Green Bay is going to be pretty upset with the way they played last week. The Panthers are coming off a short week. They played Monday night. They escaped the Colts. Green Bay, like I said, I think they're going to be pretty angry. Carolina's undefeated, but I think it's a little bit of a deceptive undefeated record. I'd like Green Bay to get back on track. I'd like them to beat the Carolina Panthers this weekend.
I'm taking the Panthers.
Oh,
I think this team. I think this team deserves
he's a believer.
more respect The Colts game,
Yeah.
I think they, took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. I'll give you that. But, this team is a good all-around team. The offense is underrated, I think. They have a good run game. Of course, Cam Newton, some decent weapons there. I think they'll take down the Packers.
All right. Next game is a classic. If you were a fan in the 70s, this is a great matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the Oakland Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, you could just imagine Terry Bradshaw and Kenny Stabler still going at it, man. I'll tell you. Just some great matchups back in the 70s. John Madden, Chuck Noll. Steelers, they almost knocked off Cincinnati last week. Almost. Came close. Roethlisberger literally threw the game away. Almost. But... and then the Raiders really did a nice job against the Jets. I think the Raiders, are the biggest surprise of the NFL season. I think easily. They are playing good football, and I really like the way they're playing. Derek Carr, arguably the best young quarterback in the league. But they're going to Pittsburgh, and we all know how tough Pittsburgh is. And I don't see Pittsburgh losing 2 straight home games, okay? And I think their defense is going to be a little bit better. I think Roethlisberger, the fact that this is his second game back from the injury, he's going to be playing better. I like the Steelers to knock off the Raiders in this game.
I'm going with the Steelers as well. I think with Big Ben back, this is his second game. I think, in the first week, kind of a tough game to come back, playing the Bengals, a division rival. But, this game, the Raiders defense, I think, not as good as Cincinnati. Big Ben will probably, open it up a little more now that he's, getting back in the flow of things. And I think they'll win this one at home.
Okay. Our next game is the Sunday night game. Wow. The Eagles and the Cowboys. You always start the records when these two teams go up against each other. Bad cliche there, huh? But that being said, the Cowboys, they've been suffering without Tony Romo. The Eagles I kind of think they've kind of steadied themselves a little bit. But, the Cowboys, they were close last week. They almost pulled off the upset of the Seahawks. Almost. I think this week they're going to get it. I think this week they end the schneid. They get off it. They get a win. I like the Cowboys over the Eagles this week.
Yeah, this is a tough game. The Eagles, I don't know what to say about this team.
Inconsistent.
You don't know from week to week which team's going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
This week, I think the good Eagles are going to show up.
He's picking the Eagles.
Taking the Eagles.
Alrighty. Next game, this is a classic 1970s matchup of the NFC. There were some championship games between the Vikings and the Rams back in the day. Bud Grant.
Back in the day.
Bud Grant, Chuck Knox, okay. Fran Tarkenton. Who was the quarterback of the Rams back in the 70s? Well, Vince Ferragamo and James Harris and Ron Jaworski started off with the Rams.
Jaws.
Yes. So who do I like in this game? The Rams have the best young running back in Todd Gurley. But I think the Vikings have a guy by the name of Adrian Peterson and Teddy Bridgewater. And they're playing at home. And a lot of purple in this game, right? A lot of purple. Yeah, the Rams don't wear purple, but it's kind of a bluish purple. Yeah. So, but I like the Vikings. They're the home team. I just think they're quietly establishing a very good record this year. I think they're going to get a wild card. I really feel they're going to be a wild card team at the end. I like the Vikings in this game.
Yeah, Vikings 5-2. Mm-hmm. Mike Zimmer's the coach.
Yeah.
He
done a good job.
Had a lot of good years with Cincinnati. Now head coach in Minnesota, doing a great job. Mm-hmm. This is a home game for them. I think they beat the Rams.
Okay. Last game is the New York Giants at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Giants, they lost a tough one last week. When you score 49 points and you lose, ouch. They do get Jason Pierre-Paul back this weekend. At least they're supposed to. I guess that's the plan they want. They need him. They need some type of a pass rush. The Buccaneers, they almost pulled off the upset last week at Carolina. Yeah. Almost. I like the veteran team with the veteran quarterback on the road. I think the Giants know that they have to play better this week. They're still in the contention of the NFC East. I like the Giants to beat the Buccaneers in this game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Giants too. I think they'll, with Tom Coughlin as coach, I don't think we'll see that bad of a defensive performance again. Plus, you have to consider who they were going up against. Drew Brees. Yeah. And, Drew Brees has started to find, some weapons again. Mm-hmm. So, I think they'll bounce back. This is another road game for them. I think they'll come back with a win.
Okay. You want to do our
Pick 6 power rankings?
Yeah, we're going to do power rankings. This was his idea.
We need a special effect.
I wanted to do Halloween candy, and unfortunately we got cut off last week. But, we can't do candy this week. But we're going to do our 6. So I guess I'll do mine in reverse order. For the 6th team, I really was drawing blanks here. I mean, I'm looking at the listing of teams, and nobody really screamed out to me.
Dolphins?
No, not the Dolphins.
Come on.
No, not the Dolphins.
What a fan.
But I almost think you could go between Minnesota and Atlanta. I think either of those two teams. I'll go with Atlanta for the record. I like the way that Dan Quinn has gotten his team playing well. You know, Matt Ryan, a very good quarterback. I like them. Number 5, Carolina. I like the way they played on that Monday night game. They dug out a win, tough one. They almost blew it, but they came back. Number 4, Denver. They're undefeated. They have a great defense, and they did play a great game against Green Bay, but I think they're good, but they're not that good. Number 3, the Bengals. I just think the Bengals are just really an amazing story that they've put a lot of their past postseason records out of their minds for now, and they're just playing very good football week in and week out. We'll see what happens in a couple of months when the playoffs start, but for now, I like Cincinnati, number 3. Number 2, the Packers. Even though they lost last week, I still think that if you look at them top to bottom, offense, defense, they're number 2. Plus, losing on the road at Denver is no shame. And, of course, number 1's New England. I mean, this team's a juggernaut. I don't know who's going to stop them, but eventually somebody hopefully will, but we'll see. Robert, your turn.
Number 6, I've got the Vikings at 5-2. We were talking about it earlier. Just a great young team, and the job that Zimmer's done there. Number 5, I'm going with the Packers in this slot.
Wow,
after seeing that game, yes, it was in Denver. Yes, yes, it was on the road. But really nervous about how that team didn't show up for that moment. I think a lot of people were expecting a good game, and it was pretty one-sided, I think. Number 4, I'm going with the Bengals in this slot. You mentioned how they're one of the kind of surprise teams this year. The way that they've come back. Another playoff disappointment last year, come out 7-0 this season, playing some good football. Number 3, I've got Carolina in this slot.
Wow. Okay.
I think what they've done, with some of the missing pieces, Kelvin Benjamin's out for the season. What they've done on offense, and of course that defense, they're going to be a tough team to beat in the NFC. Number 2, I put Denver here. That defense, I'm looking forward to that game later this month against New England. Could be a preview of the AFC Championship game. That defense going up against Brady, man, that's going to be fun. Yeah. And then number 1, the Patriots, of course. I mean, they're just tough to beat right now. Defense is playing well, but it's about the offense and Tom Brady and guys like Gronk and Edelman. Yeah. They're just doing their thing.
That's amazing. So, all right. Anything else you want to add, sir?
I'm all set.
All right, folks. Hey, we appreciate you watching our video. If you like it, please share the link and enjoy the games, and we'll see you next week.